For as long as we can remember, we've had this one thing we could always call our own, right? Creativity. That little spark, that flash of insight, it's always felt like the most human thing about us. But what happens when that's not just our thing anymore? What if an algorithm can do it too? Or maybe even better?
Yeah, take a look at this. This isn't some far-off sci-fi plot anymore. This is the world we're building right now. And it forces us to ask a really big, kind of scary question. If machines are the new creators, what does that make us?
All right, so let's get right into it. There's this one prediction that's sending shockwaves through, well, basically everywhere. The idea is that in just a couple of years, AI isn't just going to be a handy creative tool. No, it's going to be more creative than most of us. And that really hits home, doesn't it? Our whole identity is wrapped up in this idea that we are the creative ones. It's in our art, our inventions, our sense of who we are. And that's exactly why this whole AI thing feels so personal. The stakes feel incredibly high. So what's the deal with 2026? Why that specific year? Well, researchers are looking at the data, at how fast these AI models are rocketing up the charts on creativity tests. And 2026, that's the tipping point. That's the year they're projected to not just catch up to the average person, but blow right past us. And this isn't just a guess, by the way. This comes from a huge study. I'm talking 100,000 people were tested against the big AI models, and on tasks that measure stuff like divergent thinking, which is basically just your ability to brainstorm a bunch of different ideas. AI, like GPT-4, is already winning. It's consistently beating the average human score.
Okay, so AI is getting better scores on a test, but is that really creativity? Is it the same kind of spark that we have? That's the real question, isn't it? And believe me, this is where things get super interesting.
So to figure that out, we got to pop the hood and see what's going on inside. Because when scientists actually looked at how we create versus how AI creates, well, it turns out they're playing two completely different games.
And this is the key difference right here. AI is a genius at what scientists call coherence. Think of it as being a master remixer. It can take everything it's ever learned and combine it in ways that make perfect, logical sense. But us, humans, we're the champions of emergence. That's the weird, out-of-the-blue leap of logic that nobody saw coming. It's what turns a good idea into a great one.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at the numbers. It's pretty wild. On that coherence score, the AI models are just, wow, they're crushing it, way ahead of us. But then you look over at the emergence score, and boom, humans are still on top. We're still the ones who can pull a rabbit out of a hat, creatively speaking. This difference is so clear, so distinct, you can think of it like a creative fingerprint. Seriously, there's a study where they trained a computer to tell the difference between human and AI work, and it was right 92% of the time. That just shows you we're working with a totally different operating system. And that brings us to a much tougher standard for creativity, something called the Lovelace test. It's pretty simple, actually. For an AI to pass, it has to create something that its own creators look at and go, whoa, how did it do that? We have no idea. It's the ultimate test of true, unpredictable invention.
And here's the bottom line. For all the hype, for all the amazing things AI can do, not a single one has passed the Lovelace test. Not yet, anyway. Everything they create can still be traced back to the data they were fed. That human spark of genuine surprise, it's not there yet. Okay, so AI creates differently. But does that even matter in the end? Or is something else going on? Maybe the problem isn't just with the machine, maybe it's with us, with our own biases.
And that's a perfect lead-in to our next part, because, at the end of the day, we're the gatekeepers. We're the ones who decide if a piece of art is brilliant or if an idea is worth investing in. And let's be honest, we're not always impartial.
So there's this really fascinating psychological quirk called the effort heuristic. It's basically a mental shortcut we all use. Think about it. You see a handmade scarf versus one from a factory. You just automatically feel like the handmade one is more valuable, right? We value the sweat, the time, the effort we think went into something.
And that's the problem when it comes to AI. We picture a human painter slaving away for weeks in a studio, but with AI, we just think, click, and it's done. Zero effort. And that perception, whether it's fair or not, completely changes how we feel about what it creates.
And they've actually tested this. They'll show people the exact same painting, but they'll tell one group a person painted it, and the other group an AI did. And guess what? People always rate the human painting as better, more creative, more valuable. So we're not even judging the art anymore. We're judging the artist. So let's take a step back.
If AI doesn't create like us, and we're kind of biased against it anyway, then what's the point? What is its role in all this? Well, maybe we've been looking at it all wrong. Maybe it's not about human versus machine at all.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about a totally new way to think about this. It's not a competition. It's a partnership. It's about figuring out what we can build together.
There's this amazing concept called the variance paradox. It's a little counterintuitive, but stick with me. So AI might look at a million pop songs and boil them down to one perfect standard formula. At first you think, that's boring, it's killing diversity. But here's the paradox. That standard formula can act like a common language, a bridge between two worlds that never used to connect.
So here's how it could work. First, AI creates that common language. Yeah, okay, things might get a little samey for a minute. But then, that language builds a bridge. And step 4? That's our job. We are the ones who walk across that bridge, grab ideas from both sides, and create something completely new and unexpected.
And honestly, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. The magic isn't in just pushing a button and letting the AI do all the work. No way. The real innovation, the big breakthroughs, they happen when a human is in the driver's seat, guiding, choosing, curating. The AI can draw the map, for sure, but we're still the ones who have to go on the adventure.
I think Professor Kareem Jerby said it perfectly. Generative AI isn't here to replace us. It's here to transform how we work, but only for those of us who actually learn how to use it. It's a power-up, not a replacement.
So, where does that leave us? With a pretty massive question, really. If AI is our new creative partner, what does it even mean to be an artist anymore? Maybe our job description is changing, from being just the creator to being the visionary, the conductor, the collaborator. The very definition of what it means to be creative is evolving.